Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and what we have for you today is the Sonos Ace. It is Sonos's headphones that have launched in India, priced at about 40,000 rupees, and today we're going to answer two very important questions. How do the Sonos Ace compare with the Sony WH-1000XM5s, which are Sony's premium headphones, and they launched way back in 2022. This is 2024 and the Sonos Ace have just launched in India. And the second question, which is a little more important for a user like me, is how good are the Sonos Ace for gaming, especially if you're someone that's gaming on a PS5 or an Xbox Series X. So without further ado, let's get this video started. And I'd just like to let you know that I have reviewed the Sonos Beam Gen 2 on this channel. It is a great soundbar for the price. You guys can definitely go and check that out. So actually, let's get this video started. Now, first of all, let's start with the packaging of these two headphones, and I have the white Sonos here with me, and I think that both of them, actually both the Sonos and the Sony, come in this really nice hard shell case, with the Sonos having a slightly more symmetrical oval design as compared to say the Sony, which kind of has this tapering design and it's not exactly even. Both are fairly big. I mean, there's a very small difference between the size of both of them if you kind of take a look at it, and you're gonna have to make some space in your bag for these. I do like the more symmetrical nature of the Sonos case. That is an advantage, but there is a slight disadvantage when you open the case. Now, I'm going to open this case and I'm going to be a little more careful about it because I've just thrown the cables you get in as is, because when you open it, there is no actual housing per se for the headphones. You do have this little divider in the middle out here, which tells you that the ear cups will go out here. It fits fairly straight, it doesn't fold up, but you do get this little carrying pouch where I have put one of the two cables that you get. We are going to get to this in a bit. So when it comes to the fit and finish of the inside, I still feel Sony has a bit of an edge, even though on the outside it has slightly more of a tapering design. What it has in addition is like this little, ability to hang or carry your case out here, which the Sonos doesn't, but it's more cleaner when it comes to the exact positioning and the space that you have for the headphones, and of course a separate compartment for the cables, not like you can take the little compartment out. It's a very personal preference. If you're someone that likes to take the little compartment out and go with you, then that's something that is more important for you. But let's come to the headphones themselves, and in white they look absolutely stunning, and white is not a color I would go for because I feel that the white headphones would get spoiled. The color would go away, or you'd have some dirty marks on it more easily. I prefer black, but that's again a very personal preference. But in white, these absolutely do look very stunning. They have an extremely premium build, especially when you compare them to the Sonys, because they have this really nice metal out here. It just looks absolutely premium, and it is very tight. It doesn't feel loose at all, and I feel this will take a long while before you actually lose the grip that the ear cups have between the band. The band themselves also are very comfortable, even on the top of the head. You have memory foam out here, giving you a much more comfortable fit than other headphones. How they compare to the Sony, we're going to get to in a second, but just judging them on their own, they are extremely premium headphones, extremely well built, and they just fit really nicely and comfortably. Now, I'm someone that has slightly big ears, unusually large ears, and I think my ears protrude a little more than others, and my ears just about fit in these ear cups. To put things into perspective, I found the ear cups of the Sonys to be more comfortable because my ears kind of get a nice snug fit and some breathing room in those, but my wife found the Sonos to be more comfortable. She has slightly smaller ears than me, and so for her the fit around the ears of the Sonos was a lot better. What I can tell you is that the foam padding is something that's very comfortable for long use. Not that the Sony is bad. You do get memory foam on Sony's newest TWS, the WF-1000XM5, so you put them in the ear, but you get the similar material out here. The memory foam kind of feels like it has a great longevity. It has a good seal, it has a good fit. Just to throw things into perspective, I am going to throw on the Sonys as well, and I'm going to tell you why I personally prefer the Sonys, and that is for two reasons. One is the fit around the ear cups for me, very personally, is more comfortable. So that's why I feel the Sonys are slightly better. But then again, a fit is something that is very personal for you. It could be very different than me, and I feel that the Sonys are lighter on the head, which makes them easier to wear for prolonged use. but the Sonos have a nice tight grip around the ears. So if you're going to be doing some physical activities and moving around, I feel that the Sonys could move a little bit and the Sonos could have a stronger grip around the ears for you. The place where the Sonos actually gets the highest points above the Sony for me is the physical buttons that it has. Now on the left ear cup, you have the power button. You can long press the power button to actually put it into pairing mode. It has a small LED indicator right next to the power button. You also have the USB Type-C port. But on the right ear cup is where things get very interesting, because you have a physical ANC button, again something that the Sony also has, but what you have here is a physical volume rocker, which I feel is absolutely fantastic. You can just slide it up to get increase the volume, decrease the volume. You can hold it for different functionalities like changing the track, answering the call, rejecting a call, between up and down. And I think this physical button is really good. It has a nice springy click to it, which means every time you kind of toggle it, it kind of springs back into place, giving you that physical feedback of actually doing something. In the Sony, which kind of has the touch on the ear cup, I'm not really a fan of touching the ear cup to do different things, because whether the touch registered, didn't register, you touched it by accident, a lot of things could happen. So the physical controls are very good and they're very easy to get to, and they give you a really nice feel on the ears. So that was about the build and design. Now let's get into the performance. And before the performance, I want to tell you that when you set up the Sonos, you might want to install the companion app on your smartphone. It doesn't give you a lot of flexibility in terms of the equalizer. You get more flexibility with the Sony app for the Sony headphones in terms of customizing the headphones to suit your taste. You can either manually customize it, or Sony has its own this functionality where it plays different tunes and you can select which one was the best for you from a different series of numbers, and it kind of adjusts the EQ based on what you would like to hear. Something I personally prefer, but out here less is more, which means you get less customization options, and Sonos is kind of trying to please everybody with a one size fits all. Again, there's nothing wrong with it. It just depends on the type of music or movies or games that you like to play. So when it comes to movies, this is where this headphone gets really interesting, because it does support Dolby Atmos. I connected it to my Apple TV, which is connected to my TV and my smartphone, and it has this head tracking feature, which is kind of in partnership with Dolby. So if you've used a pair of Apple's AirPods, the newest ones, or even the Apple headphones, when you turn your head and let's say your phone is in front of you or the music is in front of you, it feels like all the music will shift to your left ear or your right ear depending on where you're turning. It adds that much level of better immersion. But where it doesn't work is if you're someone that goes for long walks or podcasts, because I took my phone, for example, and I had it in my pocket playing a podcast, and every time I had these headphones on and I looked left and right, the audio channel kind of shifted in a way that wasn't the most comfortable, so I went back and switched it off. But where it works really well is if you're sitting stationary, if you're in, let's say, a train or a bus or a metro, and you want kind of that more surround immersive experience, it works really well. But it worked the best for me in movies. Now when it comes to movie performance, I saw stuff like Top Gun Maverick, Ready Player One, movies that are mastered really well in Dolby Atmos, and these did give me a very good surround sound experience. So when Tom Cruise and the team is moving around towards the last dogfight in Top Gun Maverick, and there's just a lot of actioning happening all around you, both the headphones performed extremely well. The Sony had a slightly more bassier output, which was fine because I really didn't miss the bass on the audio mastering of the Sonos. So, I mean, gun to my head, it would be very difficult to tell you which of these two headphones are great for movies and music. Even in Ready Player One, where at the 11-minute mark, you have this race where all these cars are chasing each other and you have these coins flying all over the place. The audio was absolutely immersive on both the headphones. Again, I was switching back and forth between them, and I could make out just that much of a difference between the audio performance. It's a testament to how well Sony has made these headphones. It's also a testament to how awesome the Sonos headphones are. It is going to be a very personal preference on which of the two is better for you when it comes to watching movies and music, whatever the genre of music, be it classical rock, classical Indian music, Bollywood music, Punjabi music. I had a very large selection of tracks that I kept listening on both of them, and I kid you not, I could go for either one of them if these were my preferences. Where one wins over the other is for gaming. Now, let's get one thing out of the way first, and I think this is very important. The Sony has a 3.5mm port, and it comes with 3.5mm to 3.5mm cable. So if you manage to lose the cable, it breaks or something happens, I feel most people would have a 3.5mm to 3.5mm cable lying at home. which means that even if the Sony has no battery, the battery of the Sony headphones are over, you can simply connect it via the 3.5mm port to the controller of your console and still manage to get audio output even if they do not have any battery on them. The Sonos, on the other hand, do not have a 3.5mm port. They only have a USB Type-C port. And I'm just going to quickly show this to you that in the box, you do get a 3.5mm to USB Type-C cable. And this cable works absolutely very, very well. It's the cable that I've kept in the pouch for most of my use cases because I need them when I am gaming on the console. The only downside for me physically is one, you may not have a spare USB Type-C to 3.5mm cable lying at home, which is a very small thing. You can always just go out and buy another one. The other problem, which is slightly more of a bigger problem, is you actually have to power on the headphones to use them, unlike the Sony, which just work because of the 3.5mm connectivity. So for USB-C to 3.5mm, these cans need to have battery in them, which is, con number one when it comes to gaming. Con number two, and believe me when I tell you this, that I played games like Astrobot, which has great sound mastering. I played Gran Turismo, like the music rally modes. Vroom, which is the second track, has the most brilliant experience when it comes to wearing headphones and playing games. Even games like Spider-Man, Doom, Ghost of Tsushima, a lot of games which have really great dynamic range, great audio, great bassy background. Yes, these aren't gaming headphones, so their signature is slightly less bassy when compared to gaming headphones. But out here, I feel the Sony is the clear winner for two reasons. The first one I told you was that they just connect via 3.5mm, so you don't actually have to have charge in them and put them on. And the second is the volume. The Sonos for gaming, when you connect them to the controller, had lower volume than compared to the Sonys. I actually kept the volume at 50% and enjoyed the games on the Sony headphones. But for the Sonos, I had to bump them up to 70 and in some cases even 80% through the settings of the console just to be able to get the same volume as I was getting on the Sony. So if you're someone that keeps the headphones at a louder volume when playing games, then the Sonys are the way to go out here. And that is the only advantage that the Sony has over the Sonos is when it comes to gaming. So to quickly sum up both the headphones, they are at par. Yes, the Sonos are priced at about 10,000 rupees more in India than the Sonys, especially if you compare them on the prices right now. As of me making this video on Amazon, the Sonos are selling for slightly under 40,000 rupees, but the Sony is for about 33,000 rupees. So there is that 8,000 rupee difference. What you are getting for the 8,000 rupees more is a slightly better build and newer headphones. The Sonys have been in the market for a while now, and we do expect the XM6 to come out maybe in 25, 26. There is no official information yet. Both headphones are very premium. Both headphones are absolutely fantastic for everyday use. Besides my wife, anyone else that I met during the course of the review and I showed them these headphones, they really like the memory foam and the fit. So unless you're someone like me with really big ears, the Sonos should give you a good fit. The weight distribution is very nice all around, but I found the Sonys to be slightly lighter. The noise cancellation on both of them is again fairly good for what you'd expect from premium headphones. But when it comes to gaming, that is the only space where I think the Sonys have an edge above the Sonos. And where the Sonos have an edge is with the head tracking. So if you're watching a movie or listening to music and you turn your head, it kind of just adjusts the flow of the music around you, which can give a great immersive experience. But for movies, especially if you have Dolby Atmos content or surround sound content on the headphones, both of them do a really good job. So there you have it, guys. That was my review of the Sonos Ace while comparing it to the Sony WH-1000XM5s. As always, you can let me know what you thought of this video in the comment section below. And for more from the world of home entertainment, you can subscribe to the channel. I will catch you in another video. It's goodbye for now.